The hospital room never really slept. The lights dimmed but didn't turn off, like someone afraid of committing to darkness. Machines breathed in precise intervals. I learned the rhythm of them faster than I learned the names of the medications. I kept my shoes on. I don't remember deciding to do that. It just felt wrong to take them off. Like if I did, something would happen that meant we were staying longer than I could stand to think about. My kid looked smaller than she ever had, even though she was technically the same size as when we walked in. Tubes made her seem temporary. Borrowed. Time did something strange those first days. Hours felt dense. Like I had to push through them physically. Then suddenly it was morning again. And I couldn't remember what had happened in between except that my coffee had gone cold 3 times. People texted at first. Friends, coworkers, neighbors I hadn't talked to in years, short messages, heart emojis, offers to bring food I didn't want. I answered a few then stopped. It felt like every response cost me something I needed to keep. My parents didn't text, not the first day. Not the second. On the third morning, while scrolling absently because staring at the wall felt unbearable, I saw a photo without meaning to. My mother's face, flushed and smiling. A mimosa glass lifted toward the camera. My father beside her, sunglasses on, a plate of something artisanal in front of him. The caption was light. A joke about finally getting a reservation. I stared at it longer than I meant to. Not because I was angry. Not yet, it just didn't compute. Like seeing someone you know in a dream doing something ordinary, while your own world is on fire. I told myself not to read into it. They didn't know how bad it was. Or maybe they did and didn't know what to do with that. They had never been good with emergencies unless they were the ones having them. On day 4. Somewhere between a nurse explaining something for the 3rd time and a doctor saying, "We're cautiously optimistic." My phone buzzed. My mom's name lit up the screen. "You're doing okay, right? A lot going on, I'm sure. Quick question. Could you wire 4K to help your sister's kids get iPads for Christmas? She's really stressed and we're trying to make it special for them." I read it once. Then again slower. The words didn't change. There was no mention of my kid. No question about her condition. Just a vague wellness check, like the opening line of a customer service email, and then the ask. Efficient. Cheerful even. I felt something move inside me, not sharp like anger, more like a plate shifting along a fault line. I thought about all the times I had been the stable one. The one who could handle things. The one who didn't need much. The one who would understand. I thought about how my sister had always needed help, and how I had always been expected to be the place it came from. I didn't type anything. I didn't call. I didn't cry. I blocked her. The act itself was almost anticlimactic. A few taps, a setting I'd never used before. Done. For a moment, I felt dizzy like I'd stood up too fast. Then nothing. Just the machines, the light, my kid's chest rising and falling. The next day, my phone started ringing. My dad over and over. Missed calls stacking like evidence. Voicemails I didn't listen to. I let it ring while a nurse adjusted an IV. While a social worker came by to ask if I had support. While I nodded and said yes because it was easier than explaining no. By the afternoon, the calls were coming every few minutes. I turned the phone face down on the little rolling table. The screen still lit up with each vibration, like it was insisting on being seen. I waited until evening. Until the hallway quieted. Until my kid was sleeping, finally, in a way that looked almost peaceful. Then I answered. He didn't say hello. He shouted my name like it was a verdict. What followed wasn't a conversation, it was a flood. How could I do that? What was wrong with me? Did I have any idea what stress I was causing? Family doesn't block family. My mother was beside herself. My sister was counting on us. I held the phone away from my ear. His voice still filled the space, bouncing off the walls, too loud for the room. I didn't interrupt. I didn't defend myself. I didn't explain. A nurse appeared in the doorway. She looked from me to the phone, then back to me. Her expression was calm, professional, unmistakable. "Ma'am," she said quietly, but firmly. "We need to keep noise levels down in here." I nodded. She waited. I spoke in the phone, my voice even, almost detached. "You can't talk to me like this. I'm hanging up now." He started again, louder, like volume could pull me back into place. The nurse reached for the call button on the wall. Not touching it yet, just resting her hand there. The message was clear. I ended the call. The room went still, not dramatically. Just still. The nurse asked if I was okay. I said yes. She nodded, adjusted a monitor, and left. I turned my phone off. Nothing exploded. No sirens. No moment of cinematic clarity. What happened instead was smaller, quieter. I sat down and realized my shoulders had dropped. Just a little. Enough to notice. In the days that followed, my kid improved in increments so small they almost felt imaginary. Numbers edged in the right direction. Words like stable and encouraging appeared. I didn't unblock my parents. I didn't send an explanation. A message came through from an unknown number about how we needed to talk like adults. I deleted it. I thought I would feel triumphant. Or guilty. Or devastated. What I felt was tired. And clear about who had shown up. Clear about who hadn't. Clear about what I was no longer willing to trade in moments like this. When we finally left the hospital, carrying discharge papers and exhaustion in equal measure, my phone buzzed with a photo from a friend. A welcome home sign taped to my front door. Something solid. Real. I didn't know what would happen with my family long term. I still don't. What I knew, standing in the sunlight for the first time in weeks, was that I had chosen where my attention went during the worst days of my life. And that choice, quiet as it was, held.